What's up, guys, and welcome to the Polygon Forest. I am Ubisoft concept artist Vin Hill, and I am joined as ever by indie dev Mr. Christopher Jarvis.
Hello.
Let's do this. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about some recent game announcements. It's been a bit of a busy week for game announcements. It's been pretty exciting.
Been full on, chock-a-block. Been good.
Indeed, which is good. It's always a good thing to see some video games. We're also going to be talking about Team Ninja and what they've been up to, as well as some secret leaks that have come out of Steam and Valve and see what they're sort of up to. But first, Chris, how is it going, good sir? Are you well?
I am not well, Vin, and you know I'm not. I've done my neck in. So
Cool.
If anyone had seen the Far Cry video, we've just shot that, and now this video. Yes, it hasn't got better since then. So yes, if I look weird throughout this video, that is normal, but it's extra normal because I've hurt my neck, so I can't really move my head too much.
Yeah.
It's got to be slanty, otherwise it goes in spasms, and I just will shout. So if I do any shouting, it's not at you, Vin. It's just at my neck.
Awesome. Yeah. So how did you manage this? Were you parachuting? Did you jump off something high? Were you lifting something heavy? Like what manly activity were you doing to cause this injury?
Sleeping. So
You slept your neck in. That's the best.
I slept so hard
Right.
that it did my neck in.
Is too much sleep?
Just
Too much
powerful sleep. I mean, there's power naps, and then there's what happened here.
Right. Well, speaking of ridiculous injuries, I think I fractured my index finger, which is the worst fracture in the world for me personally, because obviously I draw all day, and that is my life. And at first I thought I sprained it, and it just hasn't healed over the past week, like sprains normally do, and it's only getting worse. So I'm like, that's probably not good.
That's not good for a concept artist, no.
No. So
And
I
you're
need
using
to.
the stylus, aren't you? So you can't just switch hands.
Yeah. No. It's basically this is the moneymaker, as she said. So it's kind of hard to ignore, as it were. But it is what it is. It's like the probably the worst and the best thing to fracture. So it's not the end of the world.
Has it stopped you from playing any video games this week?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
I've still been
powered
playing video
through.
games. I have powered through. But speaking of which, I have been playing Mass Effect. I've finished the first Mass Effect game, done and dusted. So I've got the worst one out of the way, as it were.
Thoughts, opinions? Come on. What do you think?
As a first-time Mass Effect player, it was all right. It was. I can imagine it would have been amazing at the time, like playing it. But like for me personally, it felt a bit dated. Even with the improvements, like I can't even imagine playing it like with the original sort of combat system and stuff. But the combat was passable. I thought the story was really interesting. The world building is amazing, like phenomenal, like world building in terms of the different races and their histories and their backstories and things like that.
Yeah,
I mean, that was the part that I really got into was the most enjoyable thing about the game, ironically, by the end was just talking to people.
Yeah.
Which was weird. Like, I wasn't expecting that. I thought, it's going to be like a space adventure sci-fi thing, exploring all these worlds. Like, no, I was just running up to people like, hey, tell me about your life.
Tell me your story.
And it was just, right. And it was just doing that over and over again because I quickly found out, like, when you go to the random planets, it's just desolate and boring. like when you survey like a random planet and you go down, it's just a massive square map that you drop down on the Mako, and you drive over hills like really awkwardly to get to a point which is on the other end of it.
Yeah.
And it's like, this isn't fun. Like, who the hell thought this would be a good idea? But I've heard they rectified a lot of that in the second one, so.
There used to be insta-deaths as well with the Mako. If you hit a rock funny and flipped over or fell down something, it would just be like dead. Like, oh,
wow.
Great. Yeah.
Are you serious?
No. The amount of times I died in that thing and had to throw the controller around because it just didn't want to do what it wanted to.
Dude. Yeah. No, I would have never finished this game when it first originally came out. But yeah. I mean, like, I'm looking forward to playing the second one. I've got it installed. I haven't started it yet. I'm going to jump into that between a couple of other games. But I've played a lot of video games this week, so bear with me.
Okay.
Second game I played was Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. That is the full title, and it's ridiculous. I agree. Played through the campaign of this. I usually get into like I usually prefer playing the campaigns of Call of Duty over the multiplayer. I'm one of them weird people.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was passable. It was very parts of the course for Call of Duty. I don't think it was nearly as good as what Modern Warfare, the last game before Cold War came out, was. I thought that game was way better than this one. It just tries a bit too much about the sort of Russia Cold War espionage thing, and like there are some really interesting beats in the game, but like story wise, it kind of like it gets really weird towards the end. It's just like
okay,
it just doesn't really feel that much like a Call of Duty. Like there wasn't as there was interesting. Like you could go up to people and have conversations with them between missions and stuff. Like you've got like a briefing room where all your crew hang out, and you can go up to them and talk to them, like a bit like Mass Effect. In that
I was gonna say, yeah,
it's kind of like that, but like nowhere near as interesting because people are all cagey and being, like secret agents and stuff like this, and so like no one really is telling the truth.
No one wants to give you their backstory,
right?
Like,
exactly.
I'm a secret agent, but I've got 3 kids and they live here, and
yeah. And everyone wants to talk about you, and it's just like, oh, this is weird. It didn't feel very organic in that respect, but it was an interesting. Like, I'm glad they went down that road. Like, it was a very interesting sort of mechanic. But yeah, game looks absolutely phenomenal. Like in terms of AAA quality of like how a game should look, it's up there. Like, a really really cool looking game.
Ah, okay.
But yeah, I mean, it's on sale right now on PSN, I think. I think it's got like 20% off. So if people are into Call of Duty and have been on the fence about this, then you should check it out. Like,
you
it's not a
recommend
bad
it?
game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, just in pure value, there's a lot of content in that game. Like, outside of the campaign as well, there's Call of Duty Zombies, which is like their zombie horde mode.
Yeah.
That's always a blast to play.
Yeah.
They've got all the multiplayer, and then they've also got I think they got Warzone sort of integration into it as well. So it's basically 4 packages in one for $40 or for like £30 or whatever I guess it is. Like
that's pretty decent, yeah. I mean, I played you
can't argue with it.
Warzone. It was really good fun and really smooth and really polished. So they know what they're doing. They know how to make games.
Yeah, I mean, as much as Call of Duty has sort of microtransactions and things like that as well, like all third parties do. It's still like just the sheer amount of value that you get for your bang for your buck in that game is you can't argue with it basically. So if you're into COD or you're into first person shooters and you've been on the fence about this, check it out. Like it's a decent Call of Duty. It's not as good as Modern Warfare in my opinion, but it's not as bad as something like Call of Duty Ghosts. But
fair enough. Okay.
That is the deal. How about you, Chris? What have you been playing?
I have just been playing God of War.
Nice. How far are you? How do you like it? What do you think?
I mean, I knew it was a good game because everyone I would talk about, like, oh, it's a great game. And I'd be like, yeah. And this is before I even knew, like, I was an Xbox guy for a long, long time. I knew it was good, but like the images I'd seen and the trailers I'd seen that were on TV, like TV trailers, I was like, it's just a big muscly guy and he's just got a thing and he's just
Kratos being Kratos.
Yeah, he's just like a wrestler guy. Just a big meathead. There's no substance there. It's going to be very 2-dimensional, killy. Oh, there's a thing. I need to kill it. Let's kill the thing. But oh my god, the subtle storytelling and the father-son thing and the god, the lure. I played the first God of War. And I couldn't get past the intro. I couldn't get past it.
I was going to mention this, like the whole...
Yeah.
Like you've got a different perspective because there's a lot of like God of War fans, like myself, like that played God of War 1, 2, and 3 on the PlayStation 2 and 3. Absolutely love them, but like over time they sort of like they started to show their age. They were a game of their time.
Button bashing. Yeah, hit the button at the right time. Hack and slash,
all that sort of stuff. And you're like, it was fun at the time, but if you try and replay them now, they're not as great. So having all of that backstory of like who and what Kratos is and like how he usually is, and then just suddenly transporting it into this like Last of Us styled, like crazy emotional story about father-son dynamic, and it's just like, oh my god, like it's there's so much more like for that. But like, how are you finding it? Is that still translating over, or is it? Is it still?
Because I don't need to know what he was before, because everything that's really important and gripping and that's great is right there on the screen playing out in front of you. And how ballsy it is to start a video game where the characters go through this massive trauma where without establishing character at all.
Yeah.
And then they're building the pieces up of how impactful that moment is while playing the game slowly bit by bit. That is ballsy, like really ballsy. But so like it's working so much. Because I started the game thinking, oh, this guy doesn't really care about much. And then it's like slowly there's chips and there's little things that I noticed, like he only uses his son's name, is it Atreus?
Yeah, Atreus.
At certain points, and
boy.
he calls him boy the rest of the time, but he calls him Atreus at times when he thinks he's going to lose him, and the boy is good, which is difficult because kids are hard in video games, and this one's it's pretty good. It's doing the job, it's getting the job done. Absolutely. And the way that it's used as a character, but also as the gameplay, what's the right word? I don't know. He's used as the mechanic, so he does the puzzles and climbs on your back and
he's actually used. He's not just a useless third part, like a random character just running around being annoying. Like
he's not just
the purpose.
He's not just the story beats, the person that will ask questions about the world, so that the big muscly guy can grunt all the time. Is actually using combat, and I can upgrade his armor and all that sort of stuff and change the color of his tunic and things. And I like my RPG, so I like upgrading the axes and going to the blacksmiths, and
there's a lot of that.
I like all that and changing my buffs and stuff. Like it's so far removed from a press X now, press circle button now to kill the thing. Even when you fight like this massive troll, I was like, okay, here's where it's going to be press X now, press Y now. But no, it's just all like gameplay. It's like it's a really good game. Like there's only
and it only gets better. Things. That's the thing. It only gets better. Like once you get to the end of the game, you'll be like, Jesus, that was a journey. Like because it's very clever about how it sort of like you think you're getting to a point and then you're like, oh wait a minute, like something's happening, sort of thing. And like I won't give anything away because I don't know how far you are into the story.
I'll tell you then. I have gone.
Yeah, no spoilers, I guess. Like the game came out 2 years ago.
It's 2 years ago. If you want spoilers, then skip ahead to the next section on the things.
Yeah, we got timestamps. Go for it.
Yeah. So I've just coming out of the bit where you go into, is it Elfgard? And there's the dark elves and the light elves.
Okay, yeah.
You go into that big shining light thing, which is the light of something, the tree. Right. And then you are in there for X amount of time, and the kid, that's like a big, massive emotional crescendo where the kid is actually slaying all these dark elves, where you were just off out of it trying to find your wife or whatever.
Yeah.
And then there's that bit. So and then I'm just coming out of that world now, and he's like, my kid's angry at me, and I'm like, oh, I don't know what to say because I'm a big meathead. But then he's got my respect, and he's leveling up, and he's showing that he can do stuff, and so Kratos is slowly questioning what he thought he knew people could do or couldn't do, and
so you're a good chunk into the game then, because like the main question I was going to ask, because remember the thing that sort of pegged my ears up when I first started playing it. I was like, I can see what they're going for. Like they're obviously like inspired by some like The Last of Us, and it's very similar to that. And I was like, let's see how this goes, I guess. And then like the first main battle with the first boss, when he knocks on your door.
Yes.
The guy in the tattoos. I can't even remember his name anymore.
It's one of like the brother of was it the son of? It's one of the gods anyway. But yeah.
And like that when that fight happens, it was just like, holy crap! All right,
and the world was changing. Like the dynamic,
way, like, it's smashing through rocks and all that sort of stuff. Just that whole scene was just like that made me sit up and think, okay, this is something different. Like this is cool.
Yeah.
I was a bit concerned about it because everything that we saw it was like you said, like you see the trailers and stuff, and it's Kratos throwing an axe, swinging an axe, like Atreus is like running back and forth, firing his arrow, and you're like, okay.
Yeah, like, I know what this is. Yeah.
Right.
No,
I get it, sort of thing. But no, it's just I was not prepared for that game, and it ended up being my game of the year in 2018 when it came out. Absolutely loved it. I think it's absolutely phenomenal. But
so now, I'm really looking forward to Ragnarok as well. And that obviously tells you that it's still set in the same sort of world. So it's not like another reboot.
Yep.
So because it's Ragnarok, we know that it's going to be set in Midgard, or they'll be going. It's sort of the Norse gods universe.
Yeah, I'll be curious where they take it, because like I've read some Norse mythology books before, and it's absolutely ridiculous. By the way, like if anyone ever gets a chance to read anything from, like, if you just read the raw text sort of thing, it's just like, how the hell did anyone believe in this? Like, it's just insane. Like, it's absolutely crazy, some of it. Like Loki steals
Like
Thor's wife's hair, and then it's just, and he's running around. Like, there's one story where Loki turns into a horse, like a female horse, and runs away with another horse, and then he comes back with a baby like a year later. It's just, there's a load of weird stuff. Like, if anyone's into like Norse mythology, you should totally like stop reading like the little snippets which they always put in like popular media, and just go and read like the
weird, crazy stuff,
because they're absolutely batshit crazy. Like, they're absolutely nuts.
Because in Unity, he is it a dog where he turns into a dog, and his father's a hellhound that grows massive, and when you go to Midgard,
Fenrir, yeah,
is that Loki that does that? Loki, is it a wolf? Oh no, it's a wolf, isn't it?
Oh wait, what are you talking about?
In Assassin's Creed.
Oh, Valhalla.
Valhalla.
Yeah.
Loki turns into a dog, and then he's got a wolf, and then he comes home with a wolf.
No, this is another like messed up thing about Norse mythology. Like, massive tangent here, but it's fine. Loki is a god. Like, he's part of he's in Asgard with the Aesir and stuff, and he's like with Thor and Odin and all that sort of stuff, and they're all hanging out drinking whatever. And Loki's he's a pain basically, and he keeps like pulling pranks on people and does stupid stuff. And he runs off like and decides to have an affair with a random giant one time in one of the stories, because he's Loki and that's what he does. So he has this random affair, right? And then he comes back and he's just like, yeah, I left for a while, and then it turns out like this giant which he basically had babies with, had 3 kids, and these 3 kids aren't like half Loki, half giantess sort of things. They actually come out as different things. So the first one is the world serpent, which you know very well.
World serpent.
So that is Loki's son.
Gross. Okay.
Right. Oh, it gets better.
How did that come out?
It took a long time. Let's put it that way.
That's hurting. That's hurting. Okay.
Chris's fault neck. Second baby is Fenrir, which is the wolf, the huge sort of wolf that ends up triggering Ragnarok by eating the moon. Like, this is how ridiculous it is.
As you do, yeah.
And then the third one, you think, okay, it's going to be along similar lines, right? It's going to be like another random creature. No, he babies Hell, as in the ruler of the underworld. Yeah, so thanks, Loki. Appreciate it. So there is 3 kids.
Loki.
And yeah, as you do. And then all the Aesir go and get these kids from the giants, because they're actually at war with the giants and stuff. And then they find out like this snake keeps growing, so they throw that into the river. How did that one work out? And then they have the wolf that they eventually like put somewhere, and then they put Hell, like, oh my god, this kid is really messed up. Let's put her into the underworld and just leave her down there. It's just like, what? Like, people believed in this. Like, this was like a religion, and now it's mythology. It's sort of split and gone that way. But like, to each their own, I guess. But it's absolutely bananas. But when you try and like, I'd be really curious to see how they sort of arrange this in God of War Ragnarok, and just see how they, like, put this
how
stuff
they tackle
together.
that. Yeah, like, so we've got to get Loki's wolf son to eat the moon, and then it can go Ragnarok time.
Oh yeah, Odin's that's another side point. Odin's horse, which has got 8 legs. Yeah, that's also Loki's son. You know, that horse which I spoke about a minute ago. Right. He comes back with this baby and is like, okay, Odin, here's my son. You may ride him until the end of time. And it's like, okay, this is weird. I don't understand. It hurts. Well, it hurts more for you because you're laughing right now. But yeah,
that's hilarious. Hi, Dad.
That is a crash course in Norse mythology.
Here's my son. You can ride him till the end of time.
Yeah, and then you look at all this stuff and you're like, really, Vikings? And this. Like it just doesn't even line up. But yeah, it's hilarious. But it's really interesting. Like once you like read these stories and you get the full context, when you see games like Assassin's Creed Valhalla and like God of War, and what will eventually become God of War Ragnarok, as well as games like Hellblade. Like it's really interesting to see like which bits they pick out to make it keep it cool, you know. And it's like they never deviate too much into like the ridiculous stories which do come about, because some of them are great as well. Like these are just like the really ridiculous ones, but it is really interesting how they try and dodge and weave between them things.
Well, God of War does that cool thing where you find those wardrobes, and the wardrobes have got those ornate images of like the tales of some of the Norse mythology.
Right.
And I think it had the wolf eating the moon to trigger Ragnarok. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they show some silly things happening in a wardrobe. So yeah, but then
everything else is cool and epic and Vikings and Thor and God of Wonder and all this sort of stuff, and it's just like, okay. Like, that doesn't really line up with the rest of it, but
I want to see the octopus horse in the next game.
God, I hope so. God, it absolutely will be. But yeah, we'll see. I won't spoil anything like towards the end of the game for you, but it's God of War. Like, to put a cap on this, God of War is a great game. Like anyone that hasn't played it, you need to sort your life out and play that game because it is great.
Yeah, it's a great game. Even if you don't like any of that stuff, and you don't like the meathead, massive tattoo, muscly guy, if you just want an awesome, like easy to play game that's got a great, well-crafted story, then you can recommend it.
Absolutely.
Basically.
And it stands alone as well. You don't like your testament to that. You don't need to play the other games. Like it's not like there's a good reason why they didn't put a number on this. I think like they started from scratch and said this is a refresh, because it's very different to the old games as well. But
yeah. Like, I don't care why he is where he is, like in the cabin in the woods. I don't care how he got there. I know he killed a lot of gods, obviously, but that other game was just...
Yeah, he is an angry man, that's for sure. Or it was, I guess, depending on how you...
Is he a Spartan?
Yes.
Right, okay. And he was looking for revenge.
Kind of. He accidentally killed his wife and kid, and he, the dust which is on his skin is like the ashes of his previous wife and kids, like they attach to him, and he's just angry, and he wants to kill all the gods for tricking him into doing this act.
Oh, okay.
So it is about revenge. But like, yeah, you really don't need to know any of that. Ironically, like it sounds like pretty heavy stuff, but it's like you don't need to know that like to play the game.
So this is Family 2.0 that we're on then. Okay.
Yeah. So redemption story as well.
Okay.
We'll see. We will see.
See what happens.
Right. Yeah, we should move on anyway.
Yes.
So this week we're going to be talking about. There's not much news happening this week, but there are some interesting key points that we want to talk about. The main one, game trailers for days. Like there's been a lot of game announcements and trailers this week. We've done a couple of reaction videos, as you might have seen, for Far Cry and Horizon Zero. Well, not Horizon Zero Dawn. It's Horizon Forbidden West. I will get that title right one day, and stop calling it Horizon Zero Dawn 2. Because that is wrong. There was also an event for Dying Light 2, which came out, and I'm super excited about that game. But there was also a couple of other things, like I think Sonic had an event, because it's their 30th anniversary or 25th anniversary. I can't remember which
30.
one it was.
Yeah.
30. God, 30 years. Can you...
So I was 3 when Sonic was born.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah.
Same. Yeah. So... long time. But saying that, it's been a very busy week for game announcements. But instead of like going through each one sort of like in order or anything like that, which one did you look at and you're like, yes, that is the game for me? I already know the answer to this, but I'm going to pose it anyway.
So it is, yes, it's Sonic. Yeah.
It's got to be, right? I mean, that teaser of him running through the forest was it was perfect. That's exactly what you want out of a Sonic game.
No disrespect to any Sonic fans, because I am excited about Sonic, but no, it was Horizon Forbidden West is the main takeaway. I haven't even actually seen the Dying Light 2 trailer, but I've seen the gameplay. The last one they did, was that a state of play they did? The Dying Light 2?
No, Dying Light 2 was announced at I think Xbox's conference. So yeah, it wouldn't have been a PlayStation event anyway.
It wouldn't have been a PlayStation thing. Oh, okay, but yeah, I've seen like a lot of that with the world and the gameplay and stuff. but I haven't seen the latest one, which was like 40 minutes, 30 minutes or so. So
Yeah,
still need to check that out.
Yeah, to give like a quick recap, it was in line with the state of plays which they did for Horizon Zero Dawn, but it was just a bit more drawn out. Like they went a bit more in depth because that game was announced like 2 years ago or something. So they had a lot more to sort of explain and reassure people like, yeah, the game is on the way. We're doing the final touches on it, and it's really come about. But they got a release date. It's December 7th, I think it was. So yeah, pretty close. So it's coming out this year. Probably with everything else that we saw this week as well. I think everything is coming hot in the holidays as it were.
So that is interesting because is that going to be? We don't know when Horizon Forbidden West is going to be coming out, but I think we can assume now that it's going to be this holiday.
It's got to be October, November. It's got to be. I'd put like the first week in November. I think it's going to clash.
So it's going to clash with Dying Light 2 and Far Cry 6. We don't know when that's going to be out yet, do we? Oh wait, no, you do. But you're not allowed to know.
I actually think that got a release date.
Oh, did it? I didn't check on the video. We should have checked that.
Yeah, we probably should have. That's a good point.
Have you got to pretend not to know? Or?
October 7th, it says.
Oh, okay. Wow, that's not far.
So we got October 7th for Far Cry 6, and then we've got December 7th for Dying Light 2. So I would probably assume that Horizon is probably going to be in between those and be in November.
Yeah.
Which I said November 3rd.
Right.
In our predictions episode. So I'm looking good for that right now.
That is looking good. And I said like next year.
Right. You're insane.
I am.
I think it's purely because PlayStation need a holiday game, and I think that would be the kicker. I think that would be the one, like, get out there, buy a PS5, buy Horizon 2. I think that's the prime candidate.
That is unless they got something else. That is going to be the one that I'm like, yep. Trying to get a PlayStation for that. I want to get a PlayStation for that. What if they don't have one available by then?
It's coming out on the PS4 as well. So. Would that be worth holding off for, though? Is the real question.
That is such a difficult question. That is so difficult. It depends.
We'll see.
It depends what else is going to be out at the same time. It depends if I can get my hands on an Xbox and what's going to be released. It depends on so much stuff. It depends on how I'm feeling at the time.
It's going to be a lot of games this year anyway. So, yeah.
We have to wait till E3. We see what's being released.
Yep.
If we can't get a PlayStation, we might have to get an Xbox first. But yeah, it's going to happen. I'm definitely going to play it. But like, I'd only found Horizon Zero Dawn this year, like a few months ago. So
that's true. You haven't been waiting nearly as long as like someone like me. Like I haven't played. I got the platinum for Horizon Zero Dawn in 2017. I have not touched that game since.
Right. Okay.
So
you've been waiting a while. I've been waiting like a few months, and I'm like, I want it now.
And you're already twitching. Yeah. Good timing though. Good timing.
Well, I'm getting a tattoo. I'm getting an Aloy tattoo. I booked it in.
Right. That is, I don't know. If there isn't an endorsement bigger than that, then I don't know what is. So yeah, that's all good.
I liked it so much, I put it on me.
Indeed.
But it's booked in for August. So yeah.
Oh well, still a while. So you can think on it.
So I'll have enough time to pull out, yeah.
Right.
Well, I paid the deposit, so we'll see.
Yeah, well, you can always get something different, right?
Yeah. I might get, I don't know, crocodile with a jumper.
You should, or maybe a dog with a wheelchair. That'll be or just like this, like holding a CD player gun. That'd be cool.
I'll get a Macarena CD shooter gun instead.
Indeed, but yeah, like the only thing. I mean, I'm in the same boat as you. Like Horizon 2 just looks incredible. Like I'm really excited about that game. I am really excited about Dying Light 2 though. I think that game is very much for its fans. Like if you went into the first game, then you probably went into this one, I guess. And I'm guessing you didn't even play the first one, so
I've not played the first one, but I've seen some stuff, and it does look really cool. And I'm excited for the second one, but it's definitely going to be might wait until it's a bit older. Wait till there's a bit of a lull, so it might be summertime next year when it gets a bit quieter. It'll go in my back catalogue. Especially
it's a good backlog game.
If you play it and we talk about it, then it will go in my backlog for sure.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. But I didn't even check what the Sonic game is. What's the Sonic game?
There was just a lot of I don't know. There was a teaser for a new game, which is like coined for 2022. So it's like another, probably not until the end of next year. So.
Yeah. Oh.
I don't know. We'll see what else comes out of that. But yeah, I think there was a part in there, like a couple of other little tidbits. But I'm not so into Sonic that I'm gonna watch an event for it. Like you said before, no offense to Sonic fans. Like I'm glad that you're into it. It's just not my jam, as it were. But to each our own.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds about right. I mean, there's the film coming out and stuff, so it'll be interesting to see if there's a tie-in with that, the Sonic 2, which we already know is going to be Knuckles involved in that from the leak from... Oh, spoilers, sorry. Spoilers. Whoops. I've probably upset a load of Sonic
Don't get
fans.
over it. I mean, if you're a Sonic fan, then you probably already knew about that.
Yeah, if you're a Sonic fan, you knew that there's going to be Knuckles in the... Well, the script has been leaked. We don't know if it's actually going to end up with that in the film. Who knows?
Knuckles dies, and then Tails gets revenge on Sonic, and then punches him in the face. Like it just gets really dark. That's yeah. That's not what happens. Do not take my word for it. Like I said, I am not a Sonic fan.
Just go to the cinema and find out for yourself. Yeah,
indeed. But yeah, lots of game announcements. There was also other stuff like I think Dragon Quest had an event as well. Like if people are into Dragon Quest, Dragon Quest 12 obviously got announced. Just showed a logo. I think Dragon Quest 3, I think it was, is getting a remake, which is sort of done in the Octopath Traveler sort of style, which is like that sort of tilt shift, blurry pixel art 3D. Like looks really, really cool.
Oh, but, cool, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not really into Dragon Quest, so I never watched the event, but I did see like the screenshots and the trailers and the announcements, and people seem really hyped about that. And yeah, I really, really hope that more games take that style from Octopath Traveler and remake some old classic JRPGs with that sort of stuff. Like why Final Fantasy VI hasn't been made in a Octopath Traveler sort of style it blows my mind that we still exist in a world where that game doesn't exist. But here we are.
Well, speaking of Final Fantasy,
yeah, we should move off onto our next story, which is a bit of a weird one, I have to say. So Team Ninja are apparently working, or like they've been reported to, Team Ninja are apparently working on a new Final Fantasy game, which isn't the weirdest thing in the world, but the weird thing is that it's Team Ninja, and apparently they're working on a Souls-like game. Because Team Ninja are the people that make Neo. I'm playing through Neo 2 at the moment, slowly chipping through it. It's a very, very long game, very much like Dark Souls. But a Final Fantasy game, Souls-like.
Well, they can do Souls-like, can't they? The question is, does Final Fantasy fit in with that genre, and can Team Ninja pull that combination off?
I believe Team Ninja can do it, but will people want it is the real question.
Yes, because it's Final Fantasy and they'll buy anything. Will it be successful though? I mean, because when it comes to Final Fantasy, I've got a confession. I've not played any Final Fantasy.
You're terrible. You should be exiled onto the moon. How dare you, sir?
Yeah, apologies. It's in my backlog. All
that is a big backlog, sir.
All 30 of them. I might play the remake. Was it the Final Fantasy VI? Was it remake?
No, Final Fantasy 7.
7, sorry.
Yep.
I mean, there's so many.
Terrible. Why am I doing a podcast with you?
I don't know. I'm so ashamed.
You should be.
I know.
That is... I mean, there's missing Mass Effect, but missing every Final Fantasy game. That's almost impressive.
Look, we're even. So you're working through Mass Effect.
That is not even. I disagree. No, it's all good. But yeah, the game in question anyway. No, I'm sorry. I apologize. But yeah, the game in question is reported to be called Final Fantasy Origin, not Origins, which should be a mistake. Origins. So Origins was it was the remake of Final Fantasy 1 and 2, which they put on the PlayStation 1 about 15 years ago. It's probably longer than that, actually. God, I'm getting old. But this one is called Final Fantasy Origin. No plural. It's said to take place somewhere or adjacent to or in the world of Final Fantasy that was on the NES. So the very first Final Fantasy game, which wasn't exactly thick and fast about any story. So I'm not really sure where they're going to take that. It will also slot into the sub-action genre occupied by the likes of Team Ninja's own Neo games, which is basically based on From Software's Soul series. So that's the report. It's very thin on details. It's set to be announced this E3, so next month. Probably at the PlayStation event or at the Square Enix event. It's going to be on PlayStation 5 and PC. Apparently, that is the current rumor. How true it is, we shall see.
I mean, I'm looking forward to that. I'm going to be intrigued to that because now's a great time to go all in on stuff that is new and exciting and fresh.
There's going to be a lot of announcements next month. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, it's already happening, isn't it? It seemed like last week we were doing our predictions, and then literally the next day there was like, trailer announced the next day, and then another trailer a few days later, and another trailer a few days later, and then we're here, and then tomorrow we're probably going to have something else, and it's probably this is probably it now. This is the ramp.
E3 has started. I think that is the takeaway from all of this, is that every week we're going to have major announcements like this, because the show is going to be so packed, I think, that there's going to be a lot of pre-announcements for E3. They normally do pre-announcements anyway, but I think this time is going to be a lot heavier. The fact that they did a blowout for Horizon Forbidden West already, and Far Cry 6 and Dying Light 2, the fact that a big chunk of those games aren't going to be shown at the conference, it's sort of telling that, man, they must be busy. And they're coming from all sides as well. It's not just like one publisher. It's Ubisoft have got a packed schedule, apparently, if they're showing Far Cry 6 early. PlayStation have clearly got a packed schedule if they're showing Horizon this early. Yeah. It's going to keep coming and coming, I think.
If Nintendo Switch Pro gets announced as well, then, that's huge news. So maybe people are wanting to clear the space for that, because that's, console launch is where the major press is going to be picking that up, aren't they? If you're a journalist and you don't usually cover video games, and then you're covering E3, because that's what happens a lot of the time.
Absolutely.
What story are you going to do? It's going to be that there's going to be a new console announced. That's going to be the major takeaway.
That's fair. I mean, anything Nintendo as well. Like, no offense to Nintendo fans out there, but Nintendo does get the cut the dishes, as it were. Like, they always get the biggest piece of the pie when it comes to attention, just purely for nostalgia reasons or whatever. Like, even though a lot of their games are repeats of old ideas, or they're just, it's slow iteration on stuff that they're producing. It usually gets the most attention, no matter what it is, because they're a very widely loved company. I mean, people can think what they want about that, but it's sort of the truth. People like the press do have a bit of a bias towards Nintendo, so like they will get most of the attention when Breath of the Wild 2 is eventually shown and a new Switch console is shown. People are just going to lose their minds either way. So they're going to get the biggest piece of the pie.
I just hope my neck is in a good place so that I can
so
move around and dance
around at E3. Well, we could set you up so you spin around
like this.
Like you can do it like excited spins.
Woohoo, woohoo, woohoo. Yeah. Maybe this is just me now. Just got to get used to it.
Yeah, that'd be sad.
Hope not. And it's just suddenly got really dark. Oh, and I moved my neck too quick. Oh, because the clouds went in and it got dark. Oh,
it's okay. But like speaking of Souls-like, have you ever played any Souls games? Like, are you into that genre at all? Or?
Not hugely. I did play. Was it Dark Souls?
Yeah, it would have been Dark Souls.
I think I played Dark Souls, but again, not many games I don't finish that I start. But that's one where I started it and I just didn't finish it. Mm-hmm. It just got to the point where I looped back around on myself, and then there was a difficult bit where I'm on a staircase, and I thought to myself, I'm on a staircase and I keep dying. I don't feel like a hero. I don't feel heroic. I feel like the opposite of that. I feel like a failure. I feel like I just keep getting killed all the time.
There are Souls-like fans throwing stuff at the screens right now because of you. But that's the point, Chris.
I know. Like, then when you do it, you feel good. It's like, I know. I watched Bido Benjo playing Returnal. Right. And that kind of changed my mind a bit. And I was like, oh yeah, I've heard some bad stuff. But then I watched Ben play it and it was really, really fun.
Still really expensive for a video game though.
Yes. Very expensive. Lots of flashing lights coming at you real quick. The lore was interesting. I haven't heard people go on and on and on about the story. It just seems like snippets and nuggets and stuff. And you only have to play like an hour or something, or like 45 minutes, or you can just run through it every time you die and restart. Right. So it's like a lobby. It's basically like a lobby. Like every time you die, you've got to play through a lobby.
Yeah, well, you basically just start the game from scratch again. That's sort of what roguelikes are like, I guess.
You've got bits unlocked. So every time you complete a boss, then you've got an extra bit unlocked. So it's not like you have to start a linear game all the way again.
Oh,
so
okay.
there are bosses, and
Right.
there's like a lobby, and there are branches. And once you've completed a boss, that's like saved. But if you die, you come back to the beginning, and then your branches are saved, but you've got to still go through the lobby. That's kind of like how best to explain it.
Okay, so it's like, to sort of explain this, like there's roguelike, which is you start from scratch every single time,
Yeah.
and you do what they call a run. And then, like, if you die, you start from the first cutscene over again, and you just have to like go through and pick up new weapons, and you have to re-level up over and over again until you get to the end of the game, or you get good enough to get to the end of the game without dying. Roguelites, what they call, like, light is where you still retain some progress in whatever form on your way. So they're kind of different genres. Like, it's super like nerdy, like elitist sort of roguelike discussion, but that's the difference. So I guess Returnal is more of a roguelite in that respect.
Yeah, it's roguelite, yes. And there are people that are like, roguelite, spit on you.
Right, yeah,
like,
they're super like elitist about it,
yeah.
It's the same discussion when we're talking about soul likes, when people talk about, oh, there should be an easy mode on soul likes, and it's just like everyone freaks out about it, which I go back and forth on. But yeah, if you want to get into a soul like game, then you should try out Bloodborne. That was the one that sort of got me into the genre, I guess.
Yes.
Like, I'm still not totally on board. Like, there are some mechanics in them games that just like really not frustrate me out of challenge. They're just frustrating for the sake of being frustrating instead of being challenging, which I never agree with. Like, the flinch systems in them games, like when you get hit and your animation's like super slow, like, oh, I got hit. But then if you hit something, it's like, yeah, and what? Like, and they just carry on like swinging at you, and there's no real balance to that a lot of the time. So like, I always have a problem with that. But for the most part, like, Bloodborne is the barrier to entry, I guess. Like, you should check that one.
Okay, yeah, cool. I think
it's usually going for pretty cheap as well. It's a PlayStation exclusive. It's on the PS4, so you should totally check that one out. It's a good game.
I've heard good things. Yeah, I'll check that out. Yeah,
indeed. All right, so should we move off onto the next story?
Yes.
Cool. So our final story, which is a bit of a bummer for me because it goes against my prediction, which I'm kind of sad about. But yeah, I did have a prediction that that Steam were going to release a native app for the Xbox Series X, and you'd be able to download Steam games. And I've been wanting this for years. God, just do it, Steam. Just do it. But instead, they've gone a different route.
Well, you explain, but I'm just going to say before we start, I think this doesn't disprove your theory.
Okay, we will see.
Prediction.
But yeah, we should probably like mention what the hell we're going to be talking about, which is that there is a report through various sources, but I'm going to reference the one that's on Ars Technica. Exclusive, Valve is making a Switch-like portable gaming PC, which is kind of nuts. Like, this sort of came out of nowhere. So Ars Technica said, we can confirm it, but not all of it, of what's in store for the codename SteamPal, they're calling it. Anyway.
Yuck. Horrible name.
What a terrible name. Unless it's an app. Like, SteamPal wouldn't be too bad, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I'm bringing my pal with me on the bus to play Steam games.
To be fair, Switch sounded dumb when that came out as well.
I suppose,
Here we are.
Yeah.
Here we are.
I mean, Game Boy, I was a kid when that came out, but that sounded cool. But it's not. But yes, SteamPal. We don't know what it is, though. We know. Is it a box? Has it got a screen? We don't know.
Yeah, that's the thing. So, like, the report says, video game and hardware studio Valve has been secretly building a Switch-like portable PC designed to run a large number of games on the Steam PC platform via Linux. It could launch, supply chains willing, by the end of this year. Multiple sources familiar with the matter have confirmed that this hardware has been in development for some time, and this week, Valve itself has pointed to the device by slipping new hardware-related code into the latest version of Steam, the company's popular PC gaming storefront and ecosystem. So there's been references to it in code, I guess, and the way that it's sort of referenced in code is that, like, there's button mappings and how screen aspect ratios and like Bluetooth and stuff like this.
Yeah.
Which as you were sort of alluding to before, doesn't necessarily mean a handheld yet, but from the way this article is sort of framed, that their sources are basically saying, yeah, there's a handheld on the way. So
it could, yes, but in the bottom of the article, doesn't it also go on to say that they could scrap it at any time? And so the work that they're doing could be used hypothetically on something like the Xbox, or the code could be ported over to the Switch. We've got some options there, and it says there that Steam and Valve have a track record of developing technology and then
scrapping,
holding on it, and then scrapping it.
Yeah, that's fair.
So they might just be using it to test the water, and it could come to nothing, and everyone could be hyped up for no reason. Or it could be, that they are trying to release a box, and then the shareholders go, yeah, let's build a box. And then all we and the press all go, this is going to be weird. I don't think you can do it. You're not going to make any money. Because I don't think they're going to make any money out of it. It's too niche. You can't... I mean, the Nintendo market is the Nintendo market. It's not like, oh, look at this market we can tap into. That's a hard nut to crack. They got it locked down. They've been doing it, untested, unrivaled for years now. The PlayStation, if PlayStation can't rival Nintendo with a handheld, Steam and Valve have got an uphill challenge.
I agree. I absolutely agree. I mean, like if this is true, and if it isn't an app that's coming to like phones, or if it isn't an app that's coming to the other consoles, just to sort of run games natively on there. If this is true and they're releasing a sort of handheld gaming PC, I think this is just such a huge mistake. Like in terms of, like, I'll have to see how they try and sell it to me, but like I'm not really interested in a PC handheld whatsoever. Like there's plenty of ways to play Steam games on a handheld. Like you can buy a Chinese knockoff and stream it from your PC to your handheld if you want to. Like, and it'll cost you $30 or something. It's really it doesn't take that much these days. Like I think they should sort of learn their lesson off the back of Steam Machine, how well that worked out for them, which didn't work out well at all because we don't have Steam Machine boxes anymore. I hope that they're not retreading ground and making the same mistakes with this. I at least hope that they've learned their lesson from that, and they've really come out the gates swinging with this thing if it is true. I would much prefer a native Steam app on my Xbox, if I'm honest. And I think a lot of other people would too. But hey, they've got to be looking at the Switch numbers and thinking, man, we want a piece of that pie. That'd be cool if we could do something like that. But remains to be seen.
Also, especially if Nintendo come out and release a Switch Pro at E3.
That too.
That could be... What would have to happen for it to work is that Steam or Valve and Steam would have to release it at the same time, like have to announce it at the same time. So it would have to be an E3. It would have to be a better spec than the Nintendo. Compatible... it would have to have games that people are going to want to play. So it's going to have to rival Nintendo's games. And it's going to have to be at the right price point to rival Nintendo.
Yeah.
And Nintendo say that they only barely make money back on their console when people buy a couple of games.
Yeah, I mean, Nintendo have historically never really sold a console at a loss. Like they try not to, I think, or they haven't for a long time at least. So I mean that's evident in the hardware that they use. They always use dated hardware, for lack of a better term, to push their products because they make money on their hardware. That's why they have multiple releases. They have Switch Lights and they'll have a Switch XL. And they've got Switches and they're all in different colors. And then Nintendo fanboys will buy 3 of each kind because like a new Pokemon edition came out with a new Switch and they've got to buy it. And they make their money though. So yeah, it'd be really interesting to see Steam and how they can sort of tackle this, because if they're not selling at a loss, then it's probably going to be underpowered, and the PC sort of gaming community aren't going to be very happy about that because everything is about power, and if it is overpowered, then it's going to be expensive, either for Valve or the consumer. Either way, there's going to be struggles ahead.
Yeah, if it's going to rival the Switch Pro, it's going to be expensive. So there's no win-win really, because... Well, maybe, but my theory is this, that they're doing all this, and they might even have a few they might even have a few consoles that exist, like some handhelds that exist. They might be getting their technology because they want to be able to offer the security to Nintendo and Xbox. Like, we can go onto boxes. This is how we've got the infrastructure. We've done all this research. We know we can get Steam onto this box, so it can go onto your boxes. And it might be good for I think this could be something to do with the shareholders. So confidence in the shareholders to know that Steam is going in the right direction and that they are in a better position to negotiate with Xbox and Nintendo to get the software on their boxes. That's what I think this is all about. Especially the fact that it said about, we can shelve it at any time and we can knock this on the head at any time. Of all the time in the whole world, when there's massive problems with shipping boxes with video games on, it's not the right time to launch a handheld console.
Maybe it is. Maybe that's the.
Maybe they're trying to capitalize.
Right.
So
the fact that people can't pick up a new graphics card, so like, all right, I'll just buy this Steam handheld instead. This SteamPal. God, that's a terrible name. Like, can't even say it out loud. It's hard. So they'll pick that up instead, and like if Valve, like for all I know, Valve might have set up data banks somewhere to sort of capitalize this whole streaming movement that's happening right now. Maybe there's an xCloud version of Steam coming around, and that's really what they're pushing here. It's to save people a bit of money and do that. I mean, I'll have to see. Like, I'm glad that they're at least attempting something like this. Like, more the merrier, I guess. Like, in terms of hardware and ideas, like we should always be pushing this sort of stuff out and see. I just don't know how successful it's going to be. Like, it's going to be a really hard sell either way, especially if they're. I don't know. I mean, the timing is terrible. That's all I can say, because if you're announcing this at E3, then you're going up against the Switch Pro model, which people are just going to be inherently more excited about, and it's a hard sell sort of thing. So we'll see. Maybe I'm wrong. Who knows?
Yeah, this time in like 5 years' time, we'll be like, remember when we said that this greatest console of all time was terrible and it would never work?
Yeah. I mean, I've done that in the past. Like, I when I first saw the Switch get announced, I thought, that's sort of a dumb idea. Like, I'm not sure how I feel about that. It's going to be underpowered. It's just basically an NVIDIA Shield with a couple of Joy-Cons stuck to the side of it. I just don't know how well that would work. Boy, I was wrong. It's totally wrong. It was probably the biggest like sort of blunder I've ever made, like in terms of like predictions and how I sort of reacted to it.
I was the same. I was like, no, because we're getting into like, high definition stuff with the proper consoles. People aren't going to want to play 720 on it,
Yeah, I mean, I was playing Breath of the Wild because I bought Breath of the Wild, and then I played it on PC. I emulated it as well. I played the Wii U version, but I've actually got the physical game. I've still got it. It's over. You can't see it from here, but it's on my shelf. I ended up buying the Switch anyway. But originally, I wanted to play Breath of the Wild, and that was the only game I played. So I bought Breath of the Wild for the Switch, and then I emulated it. Played it at like 4K, 60 FPS, looking beautiful. I had ray tracing on and all this sort of crazy stuff. Love the game. I had fun with it. I don't think it was like as revolutionary as everyone had said, but like I had a blast with it. It was a really good game. And then when I got my Switch, I put in Breath of the Wild and thought, I'll give this game another spin as well. Just playing it in 720p on a 4K screen, and just like graphics wise, I'm just like, this looks terrible. It's like 30 FPS dropping down to 20 every now and then. Just not a fun, enjoyable experience. However, like regardless of me saying all of this, there are millions of kids out there that beg their parents to get these things, and they're playing Fortnite every day, and they're playing Breath of the Wild, and they're having a great time. So like, it doesn't matter like what the hardcore sort of interpretation is of these things. This always takes off, and that's where I have my problem with the SteamPal thing, which is that you haven't got that sort of fan base. You've got a hardcore fan base. PC gamers are the elitist fan base
the most elite
of the elite video games industry of all time. So
they're the most premium. They'll spend the big bucks to get the big stuff, and they don't want to spend money on 30 FPS anything these days. Or
exactly,
the 1080p is not going to be good enough for anyone that's like a Steam gamer.
Yeah, you're probably right. I mean, on a little screen, but like if you're going to be able to stream this to your TV or whatever like that, then Steam have got a lot of convincing to do. That's all I can say. If this is true,
they've got to have some tricks up their sleeve if they want that to catch on.
Hopefully it's just a massive red herring, like psych app for the Xbox Series X.
It's going on the Xbox, and everyone goes, yeah.
Everyone freaks out and everyone's happy. Like that would be, and then Xbox wins the console wars or whatever it is. I don't think that would happen, but still, I think it would be really, really cool to see more collaboration between these companies. And sucks that they went in this direction instead. If it is true, but we'll see.
We shall see, and no doubt we'll probably get some news tomorrow about another game, and we'll have something else to talk about. And no one's going to be talking about this, and then we'll all remember it at E3. We'll be like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. And
the SteamPal, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Who knows? Who knows? Is there anything else that you want to talk about?
No, I think that's all. Biomutant. Have you seen the trailers for that?
I've seen the reviews. I haven't seen anything like past the 2 or 3 reviews I watch, because whenever a game comes out, I always watch 3 reviews from different sources. I always pick one like from IGN, and then I watch I think it's Easy Allies, and then I watch a third one from a random place. Like it's always different every time, the third one, but I try to get like as many things. But everyone is very, very lukewarm on this game, if not negative. So I've seen a couple of 6s.
Yes. Yeah.
Which, a lot of people are saying like it's a very ambitious game, but it's not very well executed, because I just don't think the team was experienced or big enough to sort of handle it. But
I think it was like a 20-person core team making this game, but they're only making it for years. That's really interesting in itself.
Impressive.
On paper, well, for me, it looked great. Like what I'd seen, I was like, this looks something that I could get into. And then it's like Devil May Cry crossed with Zelda, Breath of the Wild, crossed with
a lot of ideas,
RPGs, and I'm like, well, that all sounds good. I like all that stuff. Yeah. But yeah, I've watched a few hours worth of gameplay as well, and what people say is that it just gets repetitive early on, and for me, that's like, not worth 60 quid. It's not worth 60 quid. When I'm playing God of War for like 15 quid.
Yeah, I mean, we've spoken about this before. Like when it comes to smaller teams like this, like the scope is everything. Like if you scope too big and you're too ambitious, then this is what happens. Like you end up spreading yourself too thin, and you've got to make repeatable game mechanics or repeatable quests and stuff like that. And that's apparently what this is this is emblematic of that. Like it's from what I've seen anyway and what I've read, a lot of people saying that it gets really repetitive. You're just doing the same thing over and over again after a while. But like hat off to them for having so much ambition and seeing it through to the end. It's great when that sort of what they call double A market, like the studios that are working on much sort of a lot more ambitious things, like when you can do this in smaller teams, is great. Like I love it when this sort of stuff happens, because sometimes you get knockout successes like Hellblade.
Yes,
such an amazing game made by less than 20 people.
Wow.
And yeah, it's just incredible. And when it works great. But like there's also other times like Biomutant where, scope gets a little bit too big or the ambition sort of takes over. So
because on paper, again, like coming back to it, like the customization of weapons, that looks like it's way more customizable and more. It looks to me more fun than like Fallout 4.
Right.
But from what I'm hearing people say is that yes, you can customize things and you can find things and put it on your clothes, so you can have a really, really customizable character, and you can customize all the weapons and everything. But it's just there's no 8s, 9s, or 10 reviews. Yeah, doesn't mean it's getting reviewed well.
Yeah, it's rough. I mean, because they're the things that were probably in the original games design document, right? They sort of thought, we want this interesting character where like you can be like a cat or like these different mutations of an animal, and you've got all this customization. That was probably like the first bullet point, and they worked the hell out of that, and they figured all that sort of stuff out. But then like, okay, crap, now we need to figure what about the world? What should we put in the world? And they sort of got to that second, which I'm just making assumptions because I haven't played the game. Yeah. But that's sort of the vibe that I get from the reviews. I don't know. I'm probably going to pick it up when it's on sale at some point. But like you said,
I think it'll be a pickup.
60.
Pick up on sale. Yeah, it's just not. I can't. For me at the minute, I just can't afford that right now. And if it was getting 8s and 9s reviews, that sounds like something I'd be probably getting. And it's weird that I know we get before we were talking about Cyberpunk, and it was like, I'm glad the reviews came out because I didn't buy the game, and it got reviewed really badly.
Yeah,
it's just weird that this is happening again with this game. I just wanted to talk about that and discuss that. And
it's a valid point. I mean, everyone should always read reviews and not like pre-order games. Like, and I say that as a developer. Like, there will be a time when the game that I'm working on is coming out. Like, I never recommend anyone ever pre-order games, regardless of what any publisher says.
Yeah, don't pre-order Rainbow Six.
Well, I don't know about that. I mean, that could be a great game. No, I don't know. But yeah, like, practice what you preach, I guess. But it's I just try not to pre-order games for this reason, because like as amazing, as hyped up as like Biomutant was, and a lot of people were talking about it for a long time, and it was in the press cycle for a couple of years. Long time coming. Like, this is sort of the end product, unfortunately, but you know, it could be a critical dial, and they'll probably keep working on it. It's probably only going to get better. So if they do, then more power to them.
I hope they keep at it and do another one and do a sequel, and then the sequel works out all the bugs. Interestingly as well, it looked kind of similar to Beyond Good and Evil 2.
Yeah, I guess it does. Yeah, that's a good point.
And so it'd be interesting if there's any clash, if we hear anything about E3 with that game at the same time as Biomutant. So that would be interesting. God knows.
I've not seen anything on Beyond Good and Evil 2 at all. Like, because I haven't even seen anything internally because our studio doesn't work on it. So it might do. I'm not sure. But I've not seen anything anyway.
It is so big that you don't know.
Right. I mean, there's just certain studios that just get whole games. Like the Division is just done by the one studio, and like Montreal just don't really touch the Division whatsoever. And then there's other games that are only done in Montreal, and other studios never see the light of day. So it's very compartmentalized sometimes. And Beyond Good and Evil 2 it very much fits into that, where I just have not seen anything on it. So I'm just like you. I'm in the same boat as you. Like, I'm excited to see it. Yeah. Like, I hope that is great.
Can't wait. It's gonna be great.
Cool. So if you did enjoy this episode, then please make sure you like, subscribe, and comment. You can also hit the bell notification so you can be notified when we have a new episode come out. We have got more reactions coming soon. It's going to be a busy month. So please keep in touch, and we'll keep showing our stuff.
Yep.
So, yeah. So where can people find you, Chris?
It's at Acrylic Pixel on Twitter, and I think I'm Acrylic Pixel on YouTube.
Cool.
What about
you?
You
You can find me at Hillfort Games on Twitter. I post up some of my concept art and some indie stuff there as well. But you can also find me on ArtStation. I am Vin Hill Art on there. So if you're on ArtStation, then please come and give me a follow, and I'll probably give you a follow back because I like seeing cool art. So yeah. Until next time, we'll catch you later.
Take it easy. Bye-bye.
Ta-ta. And I am joined, as ever, by Mr. Christopher Jarvis, who's also an indie developer. If I could actually do this intro properly one day, that'd be great. Like, I'd be able to get on with my life.
That's the trope. That's the hallmark. It's fine.
Yeah. What's up, guys, and welcome to the Polygon Forest. I am Ubisoft concept artist, and I am joined, as ever, by indie developer Mr. Christopher Jarvis.
Yeah, but what's your name?
Fuck.
I am Ubisoft concept artist. That's how I'm known.
It's Sunday. I'm getting my vaccine today. I'm all excited. What can I say? Third time's a charm.
That's really hurting.